In commercial
In the industry,
kitchens.
yeah. He's worked in kitchens,
He's worked in kitchens, he worked in bars.
Yeah, totally.
He's done festivals.
Mainly bars, front of house.
Yeah, that's
And then
mainly...
his passion for food is what's kind of driving him through this.
He knows his shit as well.
I met Marcus first, I think, through Oktoberfest or through festivals or some shit like that.
Would it not have been in the Coppa with Fetty and ourselves in the RHA? He was working, he loved Fetty, and he still does love Fetty.
Yeah.
But he worked for us as a barista stroke whatever at the time, and then he started promoting clubs, or he was probably promoting clubs.
I think he was at the time, and he was doing the comedy thing as well.
And he DJs as
He
well.
was doing the comedy thing, DJs. He was playing in Electric Picnic last week. He's massive. He's launching an app about a Vent app of some sort. I should know it, I don't. But yeah, he's great. And then his online social stuff is fantastic.
Again, this kind of overbearing need to just diversify as well. It seems to be very prevalent now, you know, where it's not, you know, eggs in one basket doesn't really work. You gotta have to have this, and you have to have this, and you have to have this going on, and you know, there's not this.
Yeah, the multiple prongs.
It's not static. It's moving. You know, it's.
Yeah. And you just find that like with. So okay, Marcus is someone like that. Federico was someone else who would have done that. We mentioned Federico Rezzo there. He's someone else that would have. He can, you know, he knows food, he knows cocktails, he knows front of house, he knows service.
Yes.
Yeah,
you know?
correct. Yeah,
and he's a food personality. And he loves doing this shit. You know, whereas some people don't. I'm not. I'm in the business. I run restaurants, but I don't necessarily like this end of it, which you now need to be good at.
This end, the media end, or the piece to camera, or more like the social media bit?
The media end, which is the social media bit. When we were reopening Coppinger, it was all a big decision and such a debate between Conor and I about, do we become these characters to sell our restaurant? You know, this Bill and Ben jumping around the place,
flower pot man,
you know, doing little sketches on social media and stuff. And it just
it's just not like, us, you know.
It's not, number one, I don't feel comfortable doing it, you know.
And it's not our authentic selves.
No, and I come from a time when you open a restaurant, you serve good food.
That's enough.
You have good waiters, and you have a big smile at the front door, and you're getting through it. Whereas now, you need to be a marketeer, you need to be a marketeer, you need to be a social media head, you need to be good at so many different things. And is that distracting you from actually producing what you should be producing in the first place, which is good food, good service?
Because it's not. You can't.
So preoccupied.
You can't spend all your time on it. You have to. You have to think about.
Because those TikTok 30-second videos take fucking 3 hours.
I think
out of a day.
Yeah, you know, even looking at Mark,
your chef should be in the kitchen cooking, not online.
But it's still for Mark looking at it. You know, when I'm privy to the meetings and stuff, it's still Mark. You know, you're still at the top directing these people. So albeit that, you know, the social media people do their thing. It still has to be choreographed in relation to how does that work for our business. And even though their skill set might be within the social media and how to get it out there and get the clicks and whatever, it might not be in terms of thematic to your particular business. So there's still a lot of time spent on navigating it. Even though he's not doing the one post on the post and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, it's it can be a lot of fun, obviously, doing this stuff, but you know, when you're managing a number of restaurants, it's hard to find the time to find the fun in this.
Yeah, and especially when someone is directing you and telling you, this is what we're doing a sketch like this. It does. I like what you said, it's so, you're not being authentic, and it's so just fucking, it's kind of scripted and bullshit.
Yeah.
And it is. I've had to make those videos. I make them, and I find...
You fucking love them.
I fucking don't.
You love them. You love them till you see them.
I don't. I rarely look at them. Yeah, I rarely look at them.
Yeah, it's the best way is not to look at them.
And
we're not young men anymore.
Yeah. Like side profiles or anything doesn't work anymore.
But yeah, that whole bit is, there's bits of me when I used to have someone that done social media, and they used to make me shoot it 5, 6, 7 times. I fucking hated that.
Yeah.
Now I literally do it in one take.
Yeah.
Or you don't get it.
Or I don't. Yeah, I done one recently about fucking Charly were doing thing, More Than a Run, which was about men's mental health. Yeah, and about the bees and stuff. And I had to go and check in the bees, and it was a guy that works in the sauna, Darren. And I said to him, we're going to record this. And he's like, well, have you got your scripts? I said, no, we're just going to do it.
Let's just do it.
You know, and actually I put on...
Similar to our brief when we walked into the room. Let's just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Similar to how I talked to you guys. But I do feel it's a little bit when I'm doing the 5, 6, 7 takes. By the time I get to take number 3 or 4, when I used to do it like that, a bit of my soul was being killed. You know? I'm like, I feel like such a fraud. I feel like such a fucking phony.
Yeah, you need a shower afterwards.
Yes. Oh, fuck yeah. So in today's... Okay, we're from a generation that was probably considered as... somebody told me this was interpreters. So when we grew up, we didn't have mobile phones. We're all of a similar age. We're all mid-40s.
Yeah.
Mobile phones for me was taking my mother's out when I was 17 because I was going clubbing. And she wanted to be able to contact me. So we didn't grow up with them.
Yeah.
So we knew what it was like not to have them. And then smartphones came 10 years later, which is your WhatsApp and all your...
And then the avalanche of...
And then all of what's going on now for kids. We have all of kids. So we know we have these concerns. But the difference now between, as you said, it was opening a restaurant, was about doing good food, good service, and people having a good time, a good experience, is what you're kind of describing. Do you think the difference now is huge because of social media, because of how you can construct all of that?
Correct, yeah.
By spending all your time on fucking making TikTok videos, making Instagram videos, making all of these, you know, the media side of things. You know the story about the guy from, was it Vice magazine done a fake restaurant in London?
Yes.
Oh, I heard.
Remember it was, and then he made a documentary about it.
Didn't exist.
And it was like ranked number
Got
one.
5 stars.
Ranked number one on TripAdvisor in London.
I know.
He only opened it because he got up to like he got up to 100. He was like, I'm gonna have to open this fucking place because people used to ring and book it. Now we're booked out.
But you question whether or not with the mobile phone, whether the customer is having as good a time. Half of them are on their mobile phone, or checking their mobile phone, or checking where the babysitter is. You know those classic Instagram shots of Ibiza pre-mobile phone, where people are actually having some fun, and then Ibiza after mobile phone when everyone's on the mobile phone. You know, and it's the same in your restaurant. You know, people are more concerned about how they look and their weight and being fit in the gym, so they're all getting up earlier the next day. So there's no late sitting in restaurants anymore. People are on their phone, they're going home. You know, it's
kind of they're bearing witness to the experience. You know, that kind of thing of
they're not present.
They're not present.
Yeah,
it's
so
like the sunset argument. It's like those, you know, those people. Sunsets. You know, once you put that camera in front of you, there's a certain detachment that you have from the experience, from the present experience. Same as food, where you have this. You know, there's a kind of a. There's an angle that people are coming in when they have their food experience. It's straightly Instagrammable food. It's content. It's how does this translate, as opposed to the experience that you're actually going through.
We're doing tastings with the change of menu in all the restaurants at the moment, and you know we've got our social media guy there. So you know before all of this, the food came to the table. You tasted it when it was warm, and it was all about tasting the food and giving some feedback to the chef. Whereas you're going, no, wait, we need to get a shot of that. And then we'll move at a different angle. We need to get some sun. It's freezing by the time you taste it.
Kind of to the cost of the food, to the product. So we for instance, we had they did this amazing pork flappity, really, really crispy side. But you know, difference between that coming out bang and that cold, it's black and white. You can't really judge it. You know, can't really, you know, because it becomes difficult.
The crackling.
The crackling.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't have...
And we were there to give feedback to the chef and to decide whether or not we wanted that on the menu.
But the photos took
exactly
preference.
Someone's like, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucked up, crazy world all right nowadays. So it's all constructed.
Yeah.
And then that's going back to what you were saying about the mood of the people actually having... the meal. Are they ever present? Are they ever there now? It's like, hang on, don't touch it. I want to take a picture of your dish. Fuck off. I want to eat it. Do you know what I mean? Which is something like, look, it looks ravishing or this, you know?
And again, that then goes into that comments and the people giving bad reviews and whatnot. You know, you kind of have to massage egos a lot of the time as well, you know?
With review-wise?
Well, with people in the restaurant, I'm sure, I mean, in terms of point of service-wise, there's another layer to it. It's that you want, of course you want to have them have the best experience they have, but whenever there's a tricky customer, because we all know there are such things as tricky customers, they just like being tricky.
Really, they exist.
But for those, you're kind of negating it in a broader sense. You're not just looking at their experience. You're kind of preparing what review and you know how to negate those things, and because there's this online image and then there's the on the ground image. You know.
Yeah, no, I mean, the reviews is a minefield.
A minefield,
and especially if you're tourist orientated, because they go back to be a TripAdvisor, your Google reviews, you know.
Your Open Table reviews, you know.
I know people got really fucking freaked out because they got a bad Google review. I mean, really freaked out. How much focus do you guys put on that?
You don't like it.
I mean, we use Open Table as our platform.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of go-to for me, because when I'm checking bookings, I can very easily see the last number of reviews. Google reviews, I do check in on. I mean, they're very important. I just think it's something I don't necessarily do enough of. You know, TripAdvisor.
Is it not enough of? Like, to be honest with you, I think sometimes we focus on this shit too much. Any asshole can, anyone with an opinion can have a voice.
Yeah.
But if you
can write a review,
let's say for Coppinger in town, you know, we rely on a lot of tourists during the summertime. You know, they're looking at reviews. They're looking, especially Open Table, because it's a booking platform, but it's also somewhere where people go. The customer goes to pick restaurants on Open Table. It's not just a booking platform. So if you're getting shit reviews, they're not going to come. So reviews are very important there. People do look at it. You know, TripAdvisor is something I'd forgotten all about. And I think maybe we got a few bad reviews and I decided I never wanted to see it again. But, you know, more recently I'm going, okay, because it's hard. Like, we've amazing
fucking
restaurants.
Social media, Facebook is review based.
It is, yeah.
You know, everyone can put up a recommendation or review on your Book of Faces. And then obviously you've got
Facebook is something I don't really look at as much. It's Instagram, most of the rest. Well,
I mean, Instagram is now
probably. You know,
no, but I mean, Instagram is the new Facebook, right? Yeah. We all know this, but I mean, you know,
well, that's even showing our age. I'm sure TikTok or something else is the new something.
There's something newer that we don't know about.
But do you not find that the energy you're losing from fucking being focused on and
well, listen, the reason I love my business is an excited, fun room which is humming, and when you're tripping up on all of this stuff, you miss out on that. And then, you know, because your day as a restaurateur is filled with a lot of this other stuff, by the time you get to the end of it, the energy to put into that room isn't there as much. And you know, for me personally, what I'm good at is running a room full of customers, having a good time. And I find myself doing less and less of that. I'm older now, I have a daughter, so I don't want to do it as much. But also, you know, you're so filled with other disciplines that you're trying to learn that by the time you get to that stage, you're going, okay, well, I've got a manager and I've got some waitresses. They're brilliant at what they do.
I'm going home.
Let them take it over because I'm exhausted and I need to make a plan for tomorrow's social media thing.
Yeah, and you've spent a large part of the day dealing with the actual running of the business as opposed to the running in the business.
Age has a lot to do with it. You know, I don't want to be on...
But it's not just that. I mean, you have to wear many hats. That's something I was going to talk to you about, was the amount of hats you have to wear as a restaurateur or someone that works in hospitality, bars, restaurants, festivals, nightclubs, events. Like, have you ever sat down and thought about all the different hats that you have to wear?
The different roles.
Accounting stuff, you need to go with numbers. You
don't have a HR department. You don't have a marketing department. You don't have, you know, a bookings office. So you need to do a bit of everything.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I think that is the nature of most startup businesses, where you kind of your small businesses, you're doing a multiple based skill based things because they're all required.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, even down the line after 10 or 15 years, there's an evolution of the industry that you're kind of always catching up with. You know, it's like all of a sudden, social media became this thing that was like, it was in the same category as finance, for your financial stuff, where you've got to put money towards it.
Yeah.
And you know, so it's like you can't sit in your laurels. The industry's just changing as the tech world changes. It evolves. And I'd say, as I said, that bleeds into a lot of businesses. You know, even in art, even in design, and all that kind of stuff. It's the world that we live in is different. It's not good enough. Like as an art, I practice art as well. But as an artist, like going back and doing that, I've noticed there's a requirement. You need to, your personality has to be there. You got to sell yourself.
People want to know who is Conor and Marc Bereen.
Yeah.
And you're talking there about like an evolution that has happened.
But the really good restaurants now, do you really want to know the owner? Or is it the atmosphere when you go in? Is it the chef that's making amazing food? You don't want to look. The really best restaurants in the world, you're not looking on social media to see what they're doing behind the scenes. You're going in there because it's a classic, amazing
the
restaurant.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking for the
River
experience.
Cafe in London. Yes, okay, they have they're very good at social media and they do online stuff, but I go there every time I go to London, but I don't look at their social media.
But was that not still coming from a celebrity pitch, as in well-known chef opens well-known restaurant?
I don't think initially she was a well-known chef.
Okay.
She became that. She's iconic now. Two of them were. But yeah.
And is that something then you see in your own places where it's less about Conor and Marc Bereen and more about the package, the product, the experience that they will give to fucking customers coming in?
I hope that that's what we're focusing more on, is rather than the Marc and Conor Bereen. We've got the 4 places now, and it's we call our main company is called Bereen Brothers, and even that it makes me cringe because.
Does it? I think that's
I know,
actually.
but that's people like the story. But it makes me cringe because I wanted to be about Coppinger. I wanted to be about Charly, Quay. I wanted to be about Row Wines. I wanted to be at Orwell Road. I want that to be the focus. I don't.
Not
want
my fucking brother.
Yeah, no, not the focus on us. So,
Yeah.
No, yesterday I googled you for the first time in research, so it's actually quite funny. I'd seen the Bereen Brothers website, so actually probably is the. Starting kind of from the top, you guys have Coppinger Row, which is something that was closed down for redevelopment, then reopened. Yep. You have Row Wines, you have Orwell Road, and you have Charly, Quay.
Yes.
So they're 4 really well-known, places in Dublin.
Yeah.
Spread around the place. How did you, both end up coming to a place where you ended up in that position? Marc, you started working in the industry when?
Oh, I started.
My memory of you is Smile Festival.
Smile Festival. When was Smile Festival?
Smile Festival? Remember Festival? Little Festival?
Where is it? Fucking hell.
Was it not called Smile? You and...
No, Shine.
Shine. 17.
It's the biggest New Year's Eve event of its kind.
Yeah, Shine.
That was with John Philgate, Paul Muldoon, up in Rathesca, up in Louth. Yeah. That was a big event. Page 3 of the Irish Times.
Page 3 of the Irish Times. You guys were 17 or 18?
Marc was 17, I was 15.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was a time when I look back,
there were no cameras. That was good days.
There were no cameras. There was no phones. No one was looking at you. But what I find interesting is now you still entertain people. That was you at the age of 17 or 18, was it?
Well, I mean,
and it was you putting on a show.
We fell in love with hospitality because our parents used to throw crazy great parties, and we were decked up in our little bow ties, making gin and tonics
outfits
at the age of 7. These crazy doctors and stuff.
Late 80s kind of vibe. It was a Miami Vice kind of feel to the whole thing.
And our grandfather loved cooking, so there was a passion for food and for hospitality from a very young age. And I suppose it was always something we talked about. My dad would have he was a doctor, he had a romantic idea of opening a restaurant.
So our grandfather had a romantic idea of opening a restaurant.
Hate those fuckers, by the way. These romantic restaurateurs.
I know.
Not your parents, your grandparents, I should point out. Go on.
So we, it was kind of a natural move into hospitality. I studied acting for a couple of years, just purely because I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was in school, and enjoyed that. But then fell into a restaurant, Tosca at the time, which was kind of rock and roll. It was owned by Bono and Norman Hewson, and it was a really exciting.
Where was that? That wasn't
on Suffolk Street.
Okay, yeah.
So I ended up going in as a waiter, was a manager within a couple of months, and realised that this was something that I really wanted to get into. Yeah. Travelled after that, doing bits and pieces. Came back, worked in a few restaurants, Eden, some Sarah.
That's right. Eden was in Temple Bar Square, wasn't it?
Beautiful
I remember that place.
Yeah, beautiful restaurant. Eleanor Walsh was the executive chef for the group then.
She said hello.
Oh, really? She
was at the picnic. Yeah.
Who?
Eleanor Walsh. Amazing chef, but a beautiful person as well.
Paul Blunga?
No,
she's from, where's she from? Where's she? Galway or Galway, I think.
Country.
Galway. Yeah. Amazing lady. But so people like that, they inspired me, obviously, to fall more in love with it. And
again, I think at the time they were really there to help. There was a real, there was a couple of people that really helped us along the way.
Like mentors.
Mentors, yeah.
Yeah, like people who were guiding you, recognise your love of it kind of thing.
Yeah, and there was no rule book. There is no rule book per se, So, every venue is different and its needs are different. But, you need, those fundamentals like get that kitchen right, or otherwise you'll sink.
Yeah.
But Conor, you went to school, you were in college in London.
Where were you in college, Conor?
I went. We're back in London.
Yeah, I'm laughing because we lived together.
So
it's okay.
We with you, Charlie.
We can.
Do you remember it? I don't.
Remember
you did psychology.
I did psychology. Yeah,
that's right.
But we know each other. So
we're all very, very close.
No, as in like for the podcast bit. I mean, it's all right that we actually know each other.
Yeah. I studied art I was in the States. I finished school in the States, and then I took some time off to travel. Then I went to London, went to St. Martin's in London, did the fine art degree there, and had a wild time.
But you were working as well in hospitality.
Yeah, I was working in bars. I was where I was trying my hardest. I kept getting fired, but I was doing my best to hold the job.
We worked together in Quay for Marc and Conor White.
We worked in a few places.
The player for what was his name? Was Marc
the player. We did a couple of gigs. A couple of free parties that we went to. Yeah, exactly.
What was your man's name that was a manager?
Dangerous Dave.
No, not Dangerous Dave.
Do you remember Dave?
I remember Dangerous Dave. I don't think we should talk about him anymore. No,
he's still
who
alive.
was the guy that was...
I don't know.
You remember the guy that was the manager of the player?
Oh,
you remember when we...
Elvin, no.
No.
Oh.
You remember? Really lovely,
Elvin,
beautiful
no,
camp guy.
something like that.
Yeah.
He had a one-hit wonder, remember in the 80s?
The Grid. He was in a band, The Grid. The Grind or The Grid?
Grind, I think.
The Grind or The Grid?
I don't know.
They had that one-hit wonder. Do you know it? No.
I was like...
one hit.
it was a
it was a great dance tune. It was electronic in the early 90s, I think.
It
was like SL2 on a ragged tip.
Great, yeah. No, I worked in bars, never in the restaurant.
Do you remember getting locked on the roof of that venue?
Yeah.
Remember you fucked yourself up?
I do not. Beyond that, I woke up in. So I was working in. I'll just give a brief back.
Tell us that story.
So I was working in Quay, which is Marco Pierre White's place, and I was attempting to be a server, but I was terrible at it, and I got fired. And then I went to work in L'Escargot, which was around the corner, which is like a sister restaurant. So I was doing all right, learned a few bits and bobs. But they were opening a bar around the corner, Mark's Bar, which was on the second floor of Quay. So I said, "Listen, I'd love a job. I'd love to know how to."
It was a cocktail bar.
Yeah, cocktail bar upstairs. Yeah. Anyway, opening night, they said, "We're watching you. We have your ticket. We have your ticket marked. Didn't do so well, but we'll go." First night, opening night. I think there was a couple of celebs there and blah blah blah. Working all very good. So we all decided to have a lock in afterwards, or a little bit of party afterwards. I don't remember much. I know that oysters came out.
I was pulled in for that party that night. I worked that night with you.
And I woke up anyway. As it transpired, apparently the whale of a night. Everyone had a great time. I woke up on the main floor, on the ground floor of the restaurant. They had this middle room, which was a private dining room. All I remember is the sound, like waking up with the sound of a vacuum, and I was just like, oh God, and this hell. I woke up and I realised I'd vomited everywhere in the place. No pants on, don't know where. Still to this day, I have no idea where the trousers went to. Thank God I had underwear, but it was just not a pretty sight. And so what do? You're in the middle of the restaurant, all these people cleaning, managers walking around, no trousers on. You just got to go for it, don't you? You just got to keep that head up, keep those legs moving, and get the fuck out of there. So that's it. Open the door. Morning, gone. Never came back.
That's the way I remember that story finishing. Actually, I remember a different ending to that story.
Missing a few bits.
No, it wasn't as graphic. Fair play to you for being so graphic. I thought we were going to put on a bit more of it,
Turn it down a bit.
Yeah, nice. So you'd worked there then, and then
I was after college, after St. Martin's, I again decided to take a bit of time out, and I actually got a modelling contract, so I did that for a few years. And then when I was in Japan, I knew Marc and I were still close. And Marc had told me he had been looking at doing things with various people, and I knew he was pursuing going into the industry. And
at this stage you're in Dublin working away,
exactly.
Yeah, in a couple of different places.
Yeah, so I knew I kind of the rope. I was at the end of I felt I was at the end of the rope in terms of as far as I wanted to go in London.
How long were you in London for?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. And then, so I knew that I kind of needed a change, or I wanted to change, and I thought, you know what, this is a great idea. And also, there was a lot of cool bars opening at the time. I remember Dream Bags and Jaguar Shoes with Nick, and loads of these kind of
Jaguar Shoes on Kingsland Road.
On Kingsland Road,
I used to live across the road.
Nick's place, yeah. So I knew at that time. You remember when that opened? It was just like this. So what they had was a bag shop, which is an Indian shop, and a bag shop and a shoes, an Italian shoe company, and so they just two separate shops. Put a hole in it. But it was just very cool.
And they left the fucking front exactly
that was the genius of it. And the font and everything was fucking brilliant.
Jaguar Shoes, yeah.
Yeah, so there was that kind of stuff was happening, and it was kind of mismatched furniture. Not, you know, it just...
We're talking now, what, early noughties?
Earlier noughties, 2001, 2002.
I left London in 2002, I think.
Yeah,
you stayed for another
2003, year. 2004, whatever.
I went to Australia, and you went, you stayed on, and then you went back.
I knew that there was room because it was at that kind of monopolised. You know, the bar scene in Dublin was very kind of sewn up with very few owners, but there was at that time. It just so happened that there was kind of. There was the opportunity. We were seeing that the venues, and there was movement going on, and we thought that when I came back to Dublin, even though food was Mark's focus, and I was more into food than anything else, but we knew that, you know, opening a bar
and
would
be. I think, you know, we were lucky because obviously Conor was abroad. I was doing a bit of travelling to see him and a bit of travelling in general. And because there was no social media and there was no... Things were slower at developing in Dublin. The trends didn't come
they're a couple of years behind.
Whereas now the trends come very quickly and we're doing amazing stuff. So
they were at least a year or 2 years behind.
We were kind of ahead of the game.
We felt something we could give that wasn't here. It wasn't here or wasn't as developed as we thought it could go at that stage.
And is that how... South William Street?
Yeah.
So we first had...
Be a bar. We took a management
agreement of Be a Bar, which was great.
What's that called now? It's called...
Caribou.
It was PMax. Now it's Caribou.
Caribou. So we took that. Amazing what they do.
We took that
on
a
that for a couple of places.
Management agreement just there.
Years.
And it was great.
That was probably a good place to wet the teeth and learn a few bits.
Massive beer garden at the back.
Huge. No one knew about it.
Yeah,
I remember that.
With Herbie, remember he used to play jazz at the back and stuff.
Yeah. It was brilliant. It was a great time. As you said, to wet the teeth, I learned a lot there in terms of kind of the run of a bar, you know, as such, you know.
And it got you guys fucking...
And it opportunity for us to work together.
Exactly. And working together on a personal level, because you hadn't done that.
Yeah, exactly. Met Kieran McGonigal, who's worked with us closely since.
Kieran is going to be a guest on this, actually.
Yeah, very good. Manny Pizza. But so we had that, and then Declan Regan, who's Hogan's, he had become a friend of mine.
A mentor
of mine through Troy Maguire, who's a good mate of ours, Troy, the chef. And we had told him that we were looking for something. But we wanted a restaurant. It was always a restaurant we wanted. But lo and behold, we found the South William Bar because he had contacts in there. So
what did it used to be called? Mischief?
Mischief before that.
Do you remember upstairs? There was Mischief still there.
And Viva then before that, wasn't it?
I only remember the name Mischief because on the way up to the office...
Yeah.
Where I would have been a bit with you guys going through fitness.
A bit.
And there was a Mischief thing still on the wall there. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Everywhere in that building was Mischief.
Everywhere in that building was. That was an institution.
That was amazing.
It was a brilliant time. It was great. I don't remember any of it.
It nearly killed me.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of party going on.
But again, it's the perfect time to... You're in your 20s. You don't know what is tomorrow in your 20s. Who gets it?
I was 25, you're 23, or 26, 24. It was our first business. You know, you got to enjoy it. So.
Yeah, man. It was great.
You know, there was Dublin was doing well then. That was the boom.
That was the boom.
Yeah.
That was 2003, 4, 5, 6.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that was when pre-crash. That was mental.
Yeah, it was.
People were spending money like it was going out of fashion.
Yeah, and we thought it was the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah,
it's the easiest job in the world.
But that was full drink heavy, wasn't it?
Yeah, drink heavy, a lot of reggae.
We did pies. You did pies.
It was the only cost. It was the only thing that we lost.
Troy did the pie. Pies were amazing.
Yeah.
And then you know the pie trend in England was Pie Minister at all the festivals and stuff.
Correct. Yeah.
Pie Minister was huge, and we wanted to bring that kind of idea over here. And it did so well.
And you had Harry's Pies in Sydney.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
we all spent a bit of time in Australia, so I suppose the pie thing came there through.
The pie thing that was mid noughties.
Yeah.
And then from there, from the South William, 2008 was it? The opportunity came.
When did I remember the closing party for South William. I have to say this because I was working New Year's Eve. I left work at 3 a.m. and drove to Dublin.
Well, we didn't leave the building for 2.5 days.
I was there with you.
2.5
I was there
days.
with you. You remember there was a great crew. I have a great picture from that up in the office. It was all fancy dress.
Yeah.
It was the last, and it was. I think it was.
I was emotional closing.
So people crying in hallways.
It was lovely. It was beautiful. It was just a locked door of
fun.
Yeah, it was great.
Was there 100 people there? Maybe 80, something like that.
Oh, at least.
But it was all regs.
Yeah.
It
was all regulars, yeah.
But there was, you know what I loved about that place?
Dry, so.
Yeah, it was. In fairness, it was like,
whatever was left,
you were way too kind. I think you should. I was trying to get one of these to say, get everyone to put 50 quid in the glass, lads. You're going to like that cash. These were too good and kind. What I find with that place and what I think about other places, community. That's what that place had.
Yes.
That's what Coppinger Row had. Like when Coppinger Row closed down, temporarily, wasn't sure what was happening because of the overlord, landlord and stuff. But again, it's always been community that you guys have built.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's through the staff, the relationships that we have with the staff, and then through your regulars, obviously, as well.
Is that something you actively go out to try and... Okay, now on trend is community.
Yeah.
People are like building community.
But we weren't doing it.
But you guys weren't. Trying to like.
But I was living it. I was there day and night. There were no kids. There was no long-term girlfriends. It was you were literally in there living it, and your staff were your best buddies. You spent
so much time with them.
Yeah.
Pete, like I
met my best friends through my best Dublin friends through the restaurants.
Yeah. Like I would drive to Dublin after work and not. I might be on the phone doing work stuff or whatever the hell, and I would know I could go into the St. William and I'm going to meet people.
Yeah, 100%.
And I would know. I wouldn't have to ring anyone.
A lot of people would say,
and the same at Coppinger Row.
The
same as Coppinger Row.
You know that movie? It's like people,
where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, that kind of
exactly. But Row has that as well now.
And the Row is glad you came. Yeah, I love yours. You want to sing it? People are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. We are not going to start a barbershop quartet.
Why not?
Why not?
He's loved it. Just want to get out the door. Can we move on to the next restaurant, please?
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
And what did we do after
go back
that,
now? You were saying about Row. So Row
is that again. I'm not spending nights there, but again, you go in there and it's the same. People coming in, people finishing work in other restaurants coming in. I think that's a big part of the community is built by other bar people, other waiters, other restaurateurs using your place as their hangout. It's a real badge of honour.
It is. It's like kind of a bit of a privilege in a way, isn't it? You know, the people are doing that,
So I suppose going back to after St. William, then we moved around the corner to Coppinger Row.
So that 2008.
2008 we opened Coppinger Row. And Coppinger always had a short lease, 4 years, 9 months. So I was always trying to get a longer lease. And eventually we did, obviously. But in the meantime, we opened, which has been a very successful restaurant down in Charly, Quay.
Oh no, you forgot about Dabs and Doctor.
Oh yes, we actually
conveniently. I was going to say I wasn't going to bring that up. I thought you grazed over that one.
So instead of letting go of South William properly, we went back in and we turned it into an Asian fusion diner.
That was my idea, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, Oisin Davis worked with us. He was kind of involved. He was the American diner element. Oisin is half American or Americanish. But so that was good. I mean, it was a great thing. I'd like to say it was before its time, and that's why it didn't work. But I just don't think it worked.
But we know what? Out of respect, you fucking, you tried it.
Absolutely,
you tried something, and it was, it did, the dart didn't stick.
Yeah,
but you gave it a go and you tried it. And that's how you learn.
But that's how it goes back to that. You'd only learn from that.
Yeah, that's how we learn.
That's the most valuable lesson.
From our, like we learn most.
Did we have Coppinger at that stage?
No, we had Coppinger. And then we kept the we were still running the. I was in the South William. You were in Coppinger, concentrated on it. Then 2000.
Yeah, exactly.
2008, 2009,
so we had
2010.
No, but we had opened Coppinger Road.
Yes.
So
and you were also opening Damson Diner at a time and no one had any money.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
no, but we
economic
opened
crash.
Coppinger. We opened Coppinger Row literally at the beginning of the recession.
Yeah.
You know, it was the worst time or the best time, because we had to provide a product at a really competitive price, and it was totally personality driven, because people weren't going out spending money, and you know, they weren't even thinking about eating out, but they wanted to go out for the experience of hanging out and taking their minds away from
even
the
a bit of escapism from all the shite at home.
But also, it was the key, I think, was tapping into what that market needed at the time. It was perception of value was value for money, and it was again this sense of community where, you know, people going out. It was a treat for people to go out. You know, people were, you know, disposable incomes. People don't have it. You know, so I think by chance and by design, it kind of worked. Our ethos worked for that space. You know, it gave it legs. You know,
oh no, it did massively, and it was another place where again I could just tip into.
And you know,
and there was other people that you'd bump into, and they came in with the same thing. They're out for a wander. I'll pop onto Coppinger and see who's about.
Yeah.
And you had some great fucking crew working in there.
Great crew, great customers. You know, we had a lot of very cool people coming in.
Because there was a fair outpouring.
The disco brunches in Coppinger, you know, they were mad. Great fun.
Yeah. And when did you start? Like, that was before all the Belfast brunch stuff and stuff's going on now in the industry.
Yeah, the disco brunch
was way ahead of the ball on that one.
Quay and who was involved? He's married to Gemma.
Oh, James.
James. They were all involved. They used to do the disco brunch at weekends on Sundays, and it was huge. It was great.
Really good fun.
Yeah. And that was something else as well, I think, that came from London, and Chewy was on it first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And brought it into Dublin.
Again, even then, only social media was only starting to rev up, you know what I mean? So,
but to go back to you had Kieran McGonigal, you had Troy,
Billy Scurry, Noel Davey.
So Billy is someone else, and is Noel.
Noel's still working for us down
there. No, I know. Noel's down there, Noel, you know, fairness. And I would have known these lads via the restaurant and you guys.
Yeah.
And coming in there. And, you know, how important do you see it is? Like, okay, it's fucking important that you have a good team and you have a good crew and you have a good ethos. How hard do you find it now in comparison to what it was 15, 20 years ago? Is to get people interested, to get people that want to come in and work in hospitality.
Yeah.
Do you notice that difference? It is now, like, it's
a very tough industry, but it's always been a tough industry. It's harder now because before it was my whole life. It was my social life. I was in there enjoying it in a different way than I do now. And now it's a business that I need to work. So it's obviously going to be more boring than it was when it was your party place. But, you know, it's a very tough business, but I do believe that everybody out there knows it's a tough business, and we don't need to use a platform here to give out about our per us. No. You know, if we keep talking so negatively about it, it'll become a place where people don't want to go and don't want to have a good time because, worried about if the restaurateur's making money or not and all that.
But
it's supposed to be an escape.
But I mean about finding the people that want to have an interest to work in it.
Yes.
Like, that's one of the biggest the biggest issues I find nowadays is people wanting to work, be it as a chef or as a waiter or as a I think there's, you know, as a bartender, it's just, you know, the chef got a bit of a kick there a couple of years ago on trend where people wanted to be chefs.
Yeah.
But they became Instagram chefs.
Well, the salaries got quite high as well.
Yeah.
Made it more attractive. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough business.
And the whole work-life balance idea. Like, you know, how many hours would your head chef do? Or in the industry,
well, now not so much. We try and do it. It's four long days, and it's you know, you're trying to keep them around the 40 hours. We don't live in a world where you have chefs doing 60 hours.
No,
you know, for a 40-hour salary. You know, even at the top, and it's totally right. They don't. It means that the business has to absorb employing more staff to be able to do the same job that you would have done with less staff before.
Yeah. But I find then you get happier staff, more productive staff, and they're not getting burnout. Burnout is a major issue in our industry.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, the lifestyle attached to it as well.
The lifestyle, the after work, the lock-ins in South William or wherever, and Player in Soho. You know, all that stuff does eventually catch up with you, kind of thing. You know.
Yeah.
I think what's lost now for people is I've actually come to a place where I enjoy the fact that I can serve people and give their evening or their night a good experience. If you think about when you go out for dinner with, I don't know, a loved one, a friend, how much the vibe off the waiter or the waitress
makes a difference.
Makes a difference to your experience.
Massive.
Massive.
You know?
And for that waiter
and that's
to be
a bit
able to read, or the waiter or the manager to be able to read when it's time to go and talk, when the customer does want that and when they don't want that, you know, and that's a skill to be able to read people.
Yeah, I mean, I must notice because I'm not on that kind of on the table or on the operational side, but I'm very privileged that I go travel with Mark and the chefs, and we experience food in other places. And what I noticed the last time before we opened Orwell Road and Coppinger was experience-wise, some of the places in some of the places in London, I couldn't quite, because I'd be very into the food end of it and the palate and all that and breakdown, but you know the eclectic or the whole part of the experience you kind of have to be sensitive to. And what I noticed the last few times in London was that, like, what made Mantechet better than this, or what was the definitive, and what it was just this seamless, effortless knowledge, excitement coming from staff,
passion to read, feel real the passion from this.
And it's not served in a way that's I know more than you, or not telling you. It's done in a very celebratory, you know, in a lovely manner, and that fluidity of service and that kind of knowledge. That effortless knowledge is very soothing for a customer, and very, you know, for someone who's there for the food and who knows their food, you know. It's just that end of it and I think when we were coming back to Mark, I think Mark had said to me on that one particular trip, you know, that's the difference, you know, that's the difference.
Well, that's what you try.
It's not what you try and grab, yeah. And it made total sense to me. It's like it's beyond the shell and core of the place. It's beyond the food. It's that other part. It's an effortless part. An effortless confidence.
People are generally, you know, there's not big perks working in hospitality, so I think they are there because they have a passion for it. And if you have a team that works well together, you're going to have the chefs talking to the managers and the staff about their food and doing tasting. We encourage that a lot of tasting in regards to the food, making sure the front of house understand what's going back of house.
They know what they're eating as well. Like.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to tell a customer. Yeah. You know, I've had this. This is lovely. This is nice.
And the whys and why their personal preferences. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And do you like? I find it's a lot to do with, you know, people that like interacting with people. That's how we choose people, and we get them young, because we have a TY program we do it 4th year, and we have some of our best servers have come through that program, because you can tell,
and you can teach them the bits.
You can teach them the technical tasks of what's in a wine, what's on a dish, how to carry plates.
But if they don't like communicating with people,
if they don't like dealing with humans, you're fucked. Yeah. So that's something that. I mean,
we're very lucky to talking about ourselves. Like, we have, you know, all of our staff have been there an awfully long time.
But
they're all wonderful, and I'm so privileged that they have stayed with us. But we're lucky in that way. You know, we don't have a big turnover.
Yeah, we have a guy in a place for Kagan in Drogheda, and it started from that years ago. The 4th years, and you guys should try maybe reach this with your secondary schools around you. The 4th years in the work experience.
We do that, mainly in the kitchen. We don't do it on the floor.
Do it on the floor. Get them in. And we have at the moment, me, Emma, Emily, I've started naming names and I'm going to be in trouble because I'm going to forget something. But we have Jane. Jane's an amazing baker, and she came in through TY. Alex, who's the other guy? And that's just in the last 12 months. Wow. But you know the way you can tell
But you get rid of them within 12 months.
No, as a mother would say, they come in and do a week's work experience. Oh no, we brought in 50 or 60 of them came in last year, and we gave jobs to 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah. Full-time jobs afterwards.
Full-time jobs, afterwards, where, you know, and they don't come in to get jobs, they come in to do their
week. To get the experience, to find out whether they want to do this or not.
Yeah, just to work in a workplace, and usually they're just doing something, you know, a bit crampy, but you can tell pretty quickly if they've got the interpersonal skills of, like, talking to people. Yeah. I leave them alone for 3 days because they get scared because I'm the big boss. And
they make them nervous.
Yeah, so I leave them alone.
And you forget that because you're not a big boss.
No,
they think of you as a big boss.
Yeah, I forget that I even look like this. I still think I'm younger. But you can tell when someone walks with purpose. Yeah. And as our parents would have said, you know, like, my mother would say that's a good worker. She's a good shape of better.
Yeah.
Do you know? Yeah. Do you know that? Good shape on her. Yeah. You know?
She holds herself well.
Yeah. So, and we have some of the best, and they come in, what I think is really important, they come in with an awareness that they don't know the technical skills needed to be a waiter.
Instead of pretending to be the best at everything, which is wonderful.
Instead of having a year and thinking they know it all, or pretending to be the best. So they come in with big eyes and big ears, which means they want to learn. And people that want to learn are easy to teach. Whereas people that know it all,
they're not listening.
They're listening, you know. Whereas people that know it all is like, what the fuck's he on about? Yeah, that's not how I do it. I do it like this. No, feck off, will you? This is how I want you to do it.
Even I think for Mark, just looking at that, in terms of the difference between, you know, young business at a young age versus, you know, a more mature business at a more mature age, it's a very different way of modelling. You know, when I was working in the bars, you know, you have people who are under you who worked a lot longer in bars than I had, and there is this. It's harder, you know, to gain the respect from your fellow workers, you know, especially because you're knee up, you're in it, you know, up to your neck as well. So I think what I see with our company is that there is a definite automatic respect that Mark gets, and there's, you know, would you agree that it was different in terms of your workforce, in terms of working with people, getting the respect that like. In terms of where you are now, people listen to you more.
They look as if they're listening to me more.
And that's good.
But that's the authority.
No, they are listening more. I mean, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, and people respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so on that point, Conor, what do you remember being mid-20s? If you were, you know, is there something there that as an owner-operator that you would look back then and go, you know what, I wish I either appreciated that when I was in my mid-20s, of not having the responsibility and not being, like, I like going and I'm doing a wedding with Federico next weekend. I'm going to work, and I'm looking forward to just fucking being a waiter.
Yeah, I was serving.
You know, and also I'm serving Sean and Kev, and they've worked for me in different gigs. Yeah. So I'm actually looking forward to going over and serving their wedding. I think that's a bit of a...
But if you love service and you get into service, all the other problems of your business disappear because you're focused on the service. Yeah. It's so wonderful.
And you don't have to
because you
worry
remember
about
why you're stuff. Why you're in this. First of all, you fell in love with the restaurant.
Yeah, and, you know, looking after people.
Yeah.
You know? So is there any stuff that you would, like, kind of say to a young 20-something, somebody that was looking at opening their own business in a couple of years, and say to them about what would be your one piece of advice for, you know, let's say there's my lad Finn, he's 19, and, you know, let's say someone who's 25 and they want to open their own premises, a sandwich joint, a smoothie place, a coffee place, whatever it is. What would be your one piece of advice for that young, enthusiastic, energetic person, you know?
I think for me it would be that, you know, at the start, again, going back to what we said before, you know, at the start you're going to have to be doing everything whether you like it or not. But I think what's really important is identify what you're not good at. Never mind what you're particularly good at, but identify what you're not good at and focus on the fact that you can't be good at everything. And you're going to need, you know, you're going to need people to hire people that are actually better at that job than you are. And so there's this transition, there's a learning in that, you know, because I think sometimes you try and keep the balls up, in the air all the time on your as long as you can. Whereas
so focusing on your strengths, doing them and being aware of your weaknesses.
And being aware of your weaknesses.
And being able to go, you know what, I'm shit at this.
Correct.
I'm going to hire somebody that's really hot at this.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's solid.
Yeah.
Advice. What about you, Marco?
I think probably it would be to learn a bit about the business end of it from the beginning. Realize that it's not just a passion project, because it can take you a long time to realize things aren't going well, and you normally realize those at a very dangerous stage. Know how to read your figures, know how to read your accounts,
GPs, margins,
exactly, and react to them. Be honest, you know. Make sure your personality suits, because if you are the boss, you need to be honest with your staff. I find it hard because I'm a people pleaser in nature normally. So sometimes you need to be tough, and you need to be able to do that, because if you leave things on the long finger to deal with people, it can get to a dangerous stage.
And then people might take advantage of that.
Oh, absolutely.
And notice that,
and they know that
people
know how to read people, exactly.
Yeah, because usually they've got that skill
set. That's why they're serving people.
And that's something I spoke to Matt about, was about the education it is, the life education.
Yeah.
For working in hospitality or even retail, where you're dealing with Joe Public.
Yeah, you're learning.
Do you know? And Joe Public is lovely sometimes. Joe Public is an asshole sometimes. Joe Public just had a row with Mrs. Joe Public, and then
and they're bringing that in,
and they bring that to the table, and because there's something small wrong, they'll take it out on you, and then learning how not to personalize that onto yourself.
Yeah.
And
I always find looking at that as a challenge,
not to be reactive,
to turn the customer. If you do see Joe Public coming in and he's in bad mood, the challenge was always, how do I get that guy and turn him around where he's leaving your best friend?
Yeah.
And that's part of the fun of hospitality.
And that's exactly it. Yeah, and he's leaving actually, do you know what? He's leaving in a better place than when he fucking came in.
Exactly. And isn't that our job? Isn't that our job,
Yeah.
Not
that's nearly the same thing that Matt said.
No.
He said he loved seeing that, turning it. The other thing actually he said was, how do you guys, have you noticed Tinder dates?
In row all the time
in a row, you notice that because there's
we have one guy that comes in literally every week and he's the guy's best friend. Everyone's like, hey Dave, how you doing? All right, Dave.
Don't say my name.
He's up on the friendliness.
No, but the good date actually finds it funny. The girl, he normally tells the girl, I was here last week with someone else. Something's going to stick for Dave.
Is his name really Dave?
Yeah, it is. He knows.
I thought that was. I thought that was just a really good Steve. But you notice like that kind of an atmosphere when people are on a Tinder date and there's an awkwardness, and that's when a waiter or a server has that a bit of power
to play,
to be able to play a bit and be able to help them too and ease things, and that's one of the great things I think about.
But you see, deaths, marriages, you see all these big things. People come in such different forms, and especially if they're regulars, like you live these occasions with these people, and you're nursing them to make sure that you're. A very good friend of mine's father died recently. The first place they came to was Coppinger Row, Alex, and it was his sister, his brother, his mum, and. It was about giving them, the idea of giving them enough room, but being there as well, same as a Tinder date, the opposite to a Tinder date, but the idea of adding to their evening.
And that's then, or being able to read it.
Yeah.
And know, isn't it? Exactly, and that's the massive thing. I mean, you've had people that have worked for you over the years that have now gone off and they're lawyers or fucking actors or whatever. And it's one of the things, probably one of my favourite things of it is seeing the people how to develop and in their own thing, because hospitality is a part-time gig mostly in this country,
Means to an end.
Yeah, student, not really a waiter or
it's amazing to see them come back into the restaurant in their other lives.
Yeah, how do you find it? I've had them saying to me about how...
Jealous.
They got out! Bastards. I had that, and I've seen where people have said to me, the stuff that they learned. It was one particular guy's a solicitor now, and he said the stuff he learned in there, working when he was studying, the stuff that he would use now.
People skills or whatever it is,
Yeah, I have a barrister friend that goes into Coppinger all the time. I met him in Eden, which is 25 years ago. He was a waiter.
There you go, yeah. It's crazy stuff, all right, So, lads, some kind of funky, silly... Not funky silly, but
funky silly. Okay,
funky silly. I mean,
simply no.
I mean, like most ridiculous stuff that's happened, like on shift.
Connor told you fucking enough.
I've had a few. I did this. This will go. No, I won't actually. It's really bad. I shouldn't.
Don't go too dark.
I'm not going that dark.
Okay, no, don't go too dark. But I mean, of customers doing stuff like we talked at the beginning and earlier about. Customers' expectations and how everything has to be perfect and everything has to be, Instagrammable or, have you had some like pretty, standout moments or stick in the mind moments of customers and their wants, desires, needs or demands? You know what I mean? Like as in arsehole customers, difficult customers, messy customers.
Oh, my customers are all wonderful. They're all wonderful.
I don't mean in your present places. I'm talking about when you were younger and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know, because I don't mean like currently, but I mean, as in, stuff that would have, you just kind of, it stuck in your mind and it blew your mind a little bit, around. Like, these are good looking lads. Don't tell me that. I mean, a few suitors that have been, you know what I mean? I mean, a few suitors have taken a fancy to use and gone, you know, and thrown some shapes
As I
at
said,
you.
I spent a lot of time in the restaurant.
Yeah. No, Marc and Conor, nothing for you.
Nothing's that's triggering the head apart from stuff I can't say.
What stuff can you not say?
No, it's not exactly that. It's that stuff.
No, fair.
No, I can't think of any particulars.
Yeah, you were mentioning about mentors for you. It was like maybe, I don't know, Declan O'Regan was kind of a...
Yeah,
he was he had Bia, didn't he? Or he had, sorry, what was it?
Declan's massive. He has Hogan's and
Hotel.
Gulaton.
Who, not Declan, so I put that in your mouth, but I mean, who would be a mentor for you? Not necessarily someone you worked with directly, but someone who you would look at in the industry.
You know, now, you know, because the accounts end of it is such an important part of the business for me. My mentors now currently would be people that I speak to about the business end of it. You know, I work very closely with Ollie from Synergy Bookkeeping. Also,
you use Synergy, do you?
Yeah,
I use Synergy, but a man who's become very close to me, Colin Fitzgibbon. I meet him monthly more to kind of bounce things, and you know, he has an overlook at stuff. And they've become very, very important mentors at the start. You know, as mentioned, people like Orla, Eleanor Walsh. You know, they're the people that helped me fall in love with the business, the front of house,
and operationally how to set it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, starting off. And what about for you?
No real mentors would not be something.
A mentor is someone you look up to. Mentor is probably the wrong word, you know.
Yeah, within the context of the business now, less, I guess. I mean, my creative outputs are different, you know. So
there's restaurants that in Dublin that are fantastic that I look at as equal to anywhere else in the world at the moment.
Yeah. And where would you you're bringing me out, Mark, on that romantic date?
Again,
Una Mas, Lena, Eto, Kiki's, amazing space. New restaurant Comet's opened, very, very good. We're really...
It's the standards.
We're at a different level now in Dublin. It's really...
Which is great.
Yeah.
You know,
the food bar, the bar is
definitely
so high.
And higher and higher and higher, you know, it's so, which as it should.
Yeah.
And then institutions. Gulaton opened pretty much similar, maybe a bit before Coppinger. You know, that is that sort of vibe that people go there because they love it, and it's... Yeah,
but even broader, like even if you look at like Grogan's and Hogan's and these institutional retail spaces, that's kind of what... Like when I think about the success of Coppinger, that's when I think it's kind of entered into that realm where it's like it's that go-to place. It's just it's indicative of the people, the community, the space, the culture of the city. And I think that we in terms of hopefully in the reincarnation it is, but Coppinger to its core was Coppinger Row originally was that, you know, part of the city, you know, you couldn't.
Yeah, it was.
And again, as you say, the outcry of when we closed, I think that was to do with it was genuinely missing in the area. So it wasn't just another business or just another successful business. So I think in terms of looking at those businesses, it's that they would be.
We've always felt that we've had to go abroad when we're looking for inspiration or looking at standards to bring to our restaurants. Whereas I find myself doing that and coming back and eating in some restaurants in Dublin going, geez, I should have checked this place out.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant.
Better.
I can learn a lot from this guy, you know.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, where you're going to England and you're kind of you're flapping it up because of where you are and it's such a big city. But then you're kind of thinking it's really no better than XY in Dublin or whatever it is. So
and then you were saying about like how, you know, which is so true in margins, you know, you don't want to be a busy fool.
Yeah.
You know, which is a lot of restaurants are and a lot of hospitality places are, is they're barely washing their face or losing money. And that's when you hear stories about, I can't believe something's just closed down. What stuff or tools are you using now? We were speaking earlier about AI and about different things you can use for looking at, be it purchasing and the different hats that we have to wear. And then you have to know so much about. You know, EHO stuff you expect, that's fine, you know, but
I think the one thing for me is
rates
the immediacy of
your finance
results. You know, that you know, I can pick up my phone here and talk to you about what I did last night, what I did last week, what my GP is. All my reports are there, which means you can react quicker, which is a huge help. And that's through, obviously, our bookkeepers, but also through, Square. I don't mean to do an advert for them, but they're the till system. You got your app on your phone. You can do that all the time. Bizimply. Now they all speak to each other as well. So you're getting percentages, staff percentages.
You can react,
But, again, there's a world out there that I am only touching on, as you mentioned, the AI world, which is huge, which, I can't comment enough on because I don't know enough about it.
No, but you still need like things like Square, Bizimply, things like that, you can get your spend per hour down to your, the revenue per hour that each waiter.
Whichever way you
bring it in.
Wake up the next day going, your wages are too high yesterday. I need you to reduce your wages tomorrow so it matches.
Or even having a look on and ringing the manager from home and saying, come here, it's quiet. How come you still got 5 staff home?
Yeah.
Why is somebody not gone home? That's where I find is being able to look at those live numbers.
Yeah.
And CCTV, you can go on and have a look at that.
You're not supposed to be looking at.
Huh?
Which you're not supposed to be looking at.
Why are you not supposed to be looking at it?
I think you're supposed to look at your CCTV unless there's...
Why?
I think there's some sort of law.
GDPR.
You can't just... Yeah, you
GDPR.
No, you can't.
Well, that's a ridiculous law. The GDPR stuff. Well, that's just ridiculous.
So?
It could be. But that's ridiculous.
You need to have a reason. You can't just be there perving on your staff and your restaurant.
I want to see how busy it is.
Well, that's what I mean, perving on the business.
Do I need, you want to have a look and see.
Perving on the business.
Do I need to go in? Do I need to go in or can I put on my slippers?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's 9 o'clock, you're gone home. Is the bar busy? Do I pop in or... and you can have
but it is great using the combination of them all.
Well, let's go back to Square. You use Square for your tills. I use a different system. But again, I use a system called Consult IT. But but at the end of the day, you can see all the last transactions. You can see how many, how busy they have been.
Yeah.
Versus, and I know from seeing...
But it's all as much as you fucking use it. If you're not putting the information into it, and
100%.
You have all these different types. You need to...
100%.
But you have all this information, but what about getting someone to pull the trigger, press the button, send the person home, call the person in? That's where I think, and that's your manager, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, or the senior person on duty. Yes, exactly.
I
find that, the argument is, we'll just take them in, we'll send them home early. It's like, just don't bring them in the first place. Because if someone's in there,
they don't want to go home.
You're not sending someone home after 2 hours. It's unfair and it's not right and whatever else. But the thing is, can you do the shift without them?
Or just those 2 hours that you really need them?
It's only 2 hours of busyness. Can you do the whole shift without them? You probably can. Well, let's not bring them in, ruin their night and ruin my night.
Yeah, no. And the wage percentage is such a... I mean, have you guys noticed a difference now?
That's massive. The average, I think, is now in restaurants 40%.
40 plus.
We were looking at 30% when we started the business. So, your GP, it's hard to get your GP because I'm moaning now, but it's hard to get your GP because you're, it's so costly food now,
Or I was saying to Mark is, it's again, not painting the bad brush onto hospitality overall. It depends on what you're selling. And there are those products that you're selling, high GP, low staff costs, etc., etc. But
our level of restaurant, you still need to spend $1 million plus doing the place up. You still need a chef who's on 80 grand.
You still need the marketing, sales marketing budget, the social media budget.
It costs a lot to run.
To have that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Whereas if you're selling slice or you're selling burgers, you can still sell a lot of them. And your margins are higher, staff costs are less.
Less ingredients, less blah, blah, blah.
And a lot of places which you guys don't do have gone
and also the burgers and slices are so good in Dublin now that you wouldn't mind having that for your dinner.
Yeah, and a lot of places have gone now to buying a lot of, pre-prepared food. Because of those things you're talking about. Margin, labour, waste, skill.
Yeah,
the skill required to
get a tomato onto a pasta.
A tomato, even too. Looking after a side of beef.
Correct.
Now I would say very large percentage. I can't give a number. Fucking buy in pre-cut portion steaks.
Oh, huge amount.
I would say 90.
Guaranteed the size.
Everything is 10 ounce and everything's 12 ounce, whatever it is, and
huge. But even down to prep veg and prep stuff like that. The sales of that is huge. But
again, it taps into this change. It's changing, evolves. The business evolves because something gets strangled. You have to adapt. Something else gets
So with change, where do you? Two-part question. What's the biggest change you've seen in hospitality since you've started to now? Okay, is one part of it, and the other part is where do you see hospitality going in 5 years? Like there's been a massive change with that virusy thing that happened a little while ago. That caused a bit, but also there was social change that happened then, right? And how people kind of got to do a check in on themselves, and reset. Yeah, and that's when a lot of the industry chefs stepped away from it. There was a change then in. This whole chef doing 60 hours, 70 hours a week is gone. But it's gone because you know what? They went, no, I'm going mental, I'm burning out. And I think it's actually a good thing that this shit has happened. But what would you see in the last 5 to 10 years is as biggest change that's happened from, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago in Dublin in restaurants to what's going on now? Would you say you touched on like social media and this?
The city
everyone has a review.
A different beast. It's not as busy at the beginning of the week. People are relying on their weekends a lot more, and then there's no real late sitting anymore in Dublin. You don't get that 9:30 table.
I was in
Coppinger, the first Coppinger we opened at 16 or whatever years ago.
9:30 or 10, you would have
people were fucking people did dining all night. Whereas that's changed. Lifestyle has changed. I think that's down to people being healthier. Our clientele are older, so they have kids at home now.
There's a bit of that,
yeah, there's a bit of that.
I was in that restaurant on Thomas Street, the one you go in and it's the menu.
It's amazing.
You don't order.
Variety Jones.
Variety Jones,
fantastic
lovely.
restaurant.
Fucking empty at 10:30.
Yeah, but everywhere's empty at
Saturday night, 10:30, 11:15.
Totally.
There was, I lied, there was one other couple in there.
But people are gone, people are gone, and they're either, going out, but I think most are just going home.
Is it? Yeah, is it that?
Like
so that's the social change then.
It's Sunday nights. It's not full of normal people. It's full of hospitality people.
Is it on Sunday nights? Is that still going?
Apparently, yeah. All my staff were there last week, apparently.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, I haven't been in there. Like those places, is a guy like Yukio.
Huh?
It isn't that long since you were there.
No, it's not that long. I don't know. It was probably pre-COVID.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Enough, then, yeah.
I might have been in a couple of times since COVID.
Yeah.
But I was living in Croatia for a while.
But there's less of those places.
And but there's less of those places.
Duncan's was amazing. It was an institution for all of us.
Yeah.
And it was really, it was great because it was just hospitality set as well. There's a community end of it that is missing,
Yeah, and that's something that, like, it's going back to then is community, because community now is kind of a non-trendy thing, but be it run clubs, coffee clubs, and all these kind of things. Yeah. Whereas one of the things I admire about you lads is you had been doing that inadvertently without fucking realising it was building community, because that's just what you were about. And that's what made Coppinger Row successful, St. William, Row Wine, Orwell Road.
Cafe, it had that.
Even Copper Cafe with Federico in the RHA.
Yeah, it was very, very kind of community.
That was
spirit to it.
And he's all about community.
Yeah.
Mr. Community, I'm going up to him next week.
Is he going to be here?
Federico's going to. I'm doing Sean and Kev's wedding with him.
Oh, yes, she said.
Yeah, so
it'll be great fun.
Yeah, it will be. Look, actually, I'm looking forward to serving them.
Of course you are. It's going to be a party.
It's going to be great, yeah.
And if he loses money, who cares?
No, I'm not the boss. No. But no, it's going to. Look, they've done lots of gigs for me when I was doing festivals and events.
Oh, totally. You mean
like Sean and Kev?
Yeah,
they're just. So this is lovely people.
Yeah, Kev worked with us for years.
Yeah, Kev worked in the kitchen, I think, for years, and
beautiful
people. I think I nearly destroyed Sean at
some of the festivals.
I don't know. Yeah. Kev, the Fla, I think, in Drawn in 2000. Was it 18?
I remember that.
I don't know. Do you remember that? Yeah, there were 5 different venues pop up.
Yeah,
lovely crowd of people.
So. But yeah, that's the whole. Where was I going with this? That was the serving of people thing I enjoy. And community.
That's what it's all about.
So, like, nowadays, with the changes that you see in social changes of people don't drink as much. The WHO, I read something scary the other day. The WHO have a goal that they want alcohol consumption to go down by 20% in the next 5 years. That's probably a positive thing, okay?
For life in general.
For life in general.
Not for us.
Oh, look.
Yeah, for everything.
Without getting the whole thing, of course, you go into A&E on a Saturday night and you see what,
what their money's being spent on.
or, the majority of people are in there with,
Correct.
are substance related. But without going down that route, I was speaking to someone about it, and they're living in the west of Ireland, and they were saying it's the community bit that's fucking lost, and that's the bit that they think there's going to be mad knock-on effects because people are going to become more isolated.
Yeah.
You went down the pub, 10%, 15%, 20% of people might have got messy, but the other 80, 90% of people were down there and connecting with each other and chatting.
Yeah.
And connecting and connection.
Storytelling.
I mean, the gap is being filled up by, as you mentioned, the running clubs, the saunas, the cold plungers. There is definitely a shift. Not, the non-drinkers, the people that are deciding not to be out. They are finding other things. I think Ireland's getting better at that. Providing something for people that don't want to go to the pub or don't want to, it's not necessarily good for our business, but it's good for society, perhaps.
Yeah, no,
and people will look for it anyway because it's innate in us, community, storytelling, all of that stuff.
The Irish,
it's since man became tribe, became civilization.
Yeah, we're social beings.
We're social beings, so there has to be an avenue. And again, disposable income. It's expensive to go out. It's not as expensive to go to your running club on a Thursday.
Yeah, we do it like a kind of a fun run thing.
Yeah, I saw that. It looked good.
And and that's just. People have coffees afterwards and have tea and stuff.
But facilitates the same thing.
If you want to rum in that coffee, we can do that for you.
A rum after your run.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like a little Irish coffee or a rum coffee kind of thing, But, I think the social changes that are happening, and because in Ireland, the pub was such a part, the restaurant, the pub was a part of the community, that if that part falls away and is wasted, what can end up happening is people can get more isolated. And one of the issues we're having these days is with people not being connected, people feeling isolated. Loneliness.
Huge.
And it's an actual killer.
Oh, it's massive.
Like it's an actual, it is an actual killer. Did you know there's, sorry, going off topic and tangent here, but I was reading an article in The Guardian today about broken heart syndrome. They've discovered this is an actual thing. It's called
BHS. No,
no. The guy that measured it. One of the chambers in your heart kind of weakens and collapses, and you pretty much die. It's after it. You're basically dying a number of your heart weakens. It's similar to having a heart attack, and then what happens to you if you do one of those heart scans on you after and before? Basically, it's like you've just had a massive heart attack.
Wow. Oh, God.
Right, yeah, it's like an actual thing now, and it's a real thing, and it's, they've tested it where it's after having an intense psychological, emotional experience, i.e. your loved one of 30 years, 50 years dying.
Yeah.
And that's why they call it broken heart syndrome. And people... But it is sad. No, I think it's actually lovely that it's real because it shows that what happens to you emotionally and psychologically affects you physically, and therefore it's about how you're actually feeling. I think, therefore I am kind of thing. If you think life is going to be shit today and that everything's going to be bad, it's going to be shit today. And if you go out thinking, so what? It's raining, things are going to be good. And I'm going to make the most of it. Generally, you will. When rude people attract rude people.
Yeah.
When you're a dick to people, they're a dick back to you.
Correct.
Karma, whatever you want to call it.
Get back what you
do. And that goes back to what we were saying about the waiter, the waitress. If they're a bit of a dick to customers, they can get dicky customers. And if they're really nice to customers that are being a dick, you have the power to turn those people, which is what you were saying is the best thing you like to do at. When you go in there, it's to turn around a mood of a couple that come in rowing.
Again, going back to it, Mark is always, it is about people management. His attitude on the floor affects the chef. That chef affects the busboy. That bus, it's all resonance. It's all vibrations. Everyone affects everyone. So I guess.
But we need to make it an attractive attractive place to go, minus alcohol. This is, absolutely right. And you're saying that it affects you physically, which means in a positive way, being in a restaurant space where there's a buzz and there's fun is going to affect you physically in a positive way. And it's about making the place attractive to people that aren't drinking. You know, if the trend has gone that way, you know, obviously people are doing a lot with non-alcoholic drinks and non-alcoholic wines and stuff. I don't personally like it myself. I like sparkling water. I like sparkling water and apple juice if I'm not drinking. But they are doing a lot in that area, and I think that's making people. You know, some people do enjoy that. I mean, do you drink a non-alcoholic drink when you're out, or?
I mean, lime and soda.
Yeah, lime
and soda, or but you know, I like to get like actually there's a thing called All About, and it's a probiotic soda. It's a probiotic drink which has.
Are you selling it?
Clearly
not to me. No, in the bar. I mean,
no. Yeah, we've just got it in. No, I'm not selling the podcast. No, it's actually a friend of mine from the festival scene who started making kombucha years ago, and he got really into the biome and got into the body. Kegs is his name. He's from over in Galway. And he launched this baby, a couple of years ago.
What did you invested in it?
Nothing. He's just a good fucking soul. I met him in a field. Of body and soul 8 years ago. Some of the best souls. I was walking from one place to another.
To another.
No, it wasn't even.
You weren't drinking probiotics then.
I wasn't drinking probiotics then. Definitely think we turned up and there was all kinds of shenanigans going on. But yeah, just some nice guys sitting in the back of the van, you know, in the afternoon at a festival.
Yeah.
And then it was like, do you want a drink? Yeah. Then we ended up chatting there for whatever.
It's delicious.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that drink, just to let you know. But it's really good. It's all about. Fucking, it's really nice. Pepsi just bought an American brand who I have been.
Huge amount, yeah.
Who've just bought a probiotic brand drink, right, for like 150 million.
Wow.
Big figure. This guy, I think he was on fucking, I don't know. He started the company 2 or 3 years ago.
But variety.
And what they're doing is the fizzy drinks can see the trend of people are getting more, to go back to the social bit, into their body, into their health, into their wellness. And people are now going, you know what, I don't want to have a can of fucking shitty Coca-Cola or fucking Pepsi. If I can have an alternative that's a probiotic or a kombucha or something that's going to be good for me. That's where I see it going now, and that's with menu design. That's with
Variety
Jones, non-alcoholic drinks.
Variety Jones has a non-alcoholic drink program, so they do tasting. You can do non-alcoholic tasting. So they do a lot of wine pairings with their meals because it's a fixed menu, set menu, chef's choice. But the sommelier also does a pairing every night with drinks. They make non-alcoholic drinks. You know, they fizz up their own non-alcoholic drinks. They match the flavors. They put tannins in them like wines and stuff, so that you know they pair really well with different types of food. You know?
Yeah, I was looking into the differences when they make it with the alcohol first and then take the alcohol out. That's when you get the better non-alcoholic drinks with tannins and stuff. Yeah, because the tannins and those things are part of
the fermentation.
But these
they're all created during
these ones.
But these have been known, but the best non-alcoholic drinks are the ones that were made with alcohol, and then the alcohol, I think, evaporates at 73 degrees or something. So if you can boil it up to that temperature, all the alcohol goes off as ethanol. You're going Frankfurt.
That's not essentially pasteurizing it, though. It's not the same thing, is it?
No, but pasteurizing it, I believe, is boiling the shit and then chilling it down really fast.
Fast,
super fast. But it was a dude called Thomas who was his own little still in Frankfurt. We had a great cocktail bar there. Had his own little thing in his back in the store. He was explaining all that to me because I was like, this is fascinating. The scientist comes at me. I'm like, yes, I love all this, you know. Boys, what would you say is the future? You know, we're talking about the last few years, 5-10 years. But where do you see like hospitality going now with? Like, there's been a lot of pretty big social changes and changes that have happened, probably because of COVID and other reasons and other stuff. But you guys, like, for the next 5 to 10 years, where do you see the industry and going? We spoke about people drinking less, people staying out late less, people being more, you know, mindful.
I think people still want the same thing from a restaurant or a bar experience that they've ever wanted, you know, and we've mentioned all those things. It's, you know, a good product served to them in a really nice way. And I don't think that's ever going to change. That's what people want. I think the industry is, you know, a tougher industry now, and we need to put more effort into trying to get that out to them.
I think it's what again, comparatively to maybe when we started, is, you know, you have to be adaptable and adaptive. And, you know, I think maybe the future is that, you know, depending on what sort of global economic thing happens, whether transport goes through the roof, provenance suddenly becomes so important because it's the only way to get the product. You're not going to be buying tomatoes from or truffles from China anymore because you can't.
Do you mean because you can't because they're too expensive, or because it's on a kind of
global waves global waves affecting what you can and can't access or buy and not buy, and it's a dictator of the direction and growth of your business.
Is price not the dictator of that?
That's what I mean. So price is indicative of, say, transportation costs. So you might not be able to buy truffles from China anymore because purely the cost of the transport. There are global things that can happen which can resonate to the restaurateur who has to decide, right, we need to adapt to this.
Or provenance because, I want to get my vegetables from down the road.
Yeah, correct. There's that, and there's that.
It's also very.
It's better for the environment.
It's good to be on.
But for the environment, it's being more
carbon,
all of that aware.
Yeah. But beyond that, it can also be a financial decision to make as well, because access might be limited. We don't know. The world that we live in is fucking upside down, so we don't know how.
The problem is tomatoes in Spain are cheaper than tomatoes here.
But what about the transport of oil? All of these variables.
Currently, though, you guys know this.
Yeah.
Cheaper to buy, they're growing in greenhouses along there, and it's cheaper to buy them there after transport.
They're coming here and all that.
Yeah, and they don't taste like tomatoes.
No.
They taste watery. It is a different product.
Yeah.
But the people that unfortunately, I find is that, is that the more, it's about the price.
But maybe then
we make decisions based on that all the time.
Not to that stage that it is about the price. It makes all the difference.
And you think people now are going out less, is what they say, but where they're going out, they're choosing more and how they spend their money more. So do you not think then that? When I go out, if I'm going out, I go out less now.
Yeah, but you're willing to spend.
I'm willing to spend. And I'd spend 20%, 30% more to have a really good experience.
But you're going less times.
Yeah.
But is that maybe what you were saying, maybe that's the reason he's not getting that later table, is because those people who are going out earlier are concentrating, we're going to go out for a meal because that's our budget. We're not going out to have a party afterwards. Or vice versa. We're going out late to have a meal, but we're not going to go out early to have that expense. So maybe it's a budget thing as well. That last table or that late table isn't,
and probably time. I've got things I'm doing in the morning. So staying out now, maybe it's back to the back to the
we never gave a shot of it in the morning.
Yeah, in the morning was that 2 hours sleep. I'll be fine. Yes. Lads, it's been brilliant having you in, boys.
Yeah,
you having
it was a pleasure, my friend.
It's been brilliant. I mean, to finish up, I suppose, if you were going for a fantastic meal in Dublin, I want to keep it just Ireland, let's say, what would be your go-to place for a meal? Nice meal. It can be romantic or just with an old friend you haven't seen in a while who's flown over from X, Y, or Z.
I would have to say probably Kaching Chinese restaurant, and it's not necessarily the most authentic, best Chinese restaurant in Dublin. I think it's the best. I mean, the food is gorgeous.
It's not trendy.
But it's also
where's Kaching?
Kaching's on Wicklow Street.
Wicklow Street, yeah.
But hold on, we've been in there.
Yeah.
They're real, they're
the place we go. Conor and
all the Chinese staff.
Conor and I need a chat.
They hardly speak English there, the waiters.
But if we need a chat,
I know Kaching. You brought me to Kaching years ago,
And the food's fantastic. The food's in the middle of the table.
Yeah, they're big white tablecloths.
It's convivial eating. You're all reaching in. You're all sharing. Yeah. It creates a conversation. It's a lovely space, and it's non-pretentious.
Absolutely, it's not. No.
There's other amazing restaurants in Dublin, but that is somewhere I love going because it's got great memories.
Yeah, and it's down the road from you as well.
It's just around the corner, so I nip in on a break. A couple of Dublins.
We would meet there a lot.
Yeah.
Where would you go, Cons?
A go-to meal, it just resonated when you said to me about someone coming over or whatever. I went to Inishboffin there recently, and with the second time, and there's this great, before you get in the ferry, there's a pub and there's another little not even restaurant, it's just kind of small, it is a restaurant, but they do these amazing crab rolls, and they something like that would be my go-to. I just think that, definitely.
It's just a crab roll.
Just when you said to someone coming over what you'd advise. If they were doing a tour of Ireland, I'd say definitely do that. Go to the West. eat some shellfish, you know, because there's something lovely.
Yeah, I was talking. The second person that's mentioned in Spoffin in the last 2 days.
Okay,
I was onto someone yesterday.
It's a very.
And they were saying about the ferry.
I've gone second year now. I've gone. It's amazing.
That'll be another piece of advice. Get out west. Get out to the country high.
Go west. Yeah.
Go west high by.
Yeah, it's good for
Well, look, lads. Thank you for taking the time out from Coppinger Row, Row Wines, Orwell Road, and Charly Quay. You guys have looked after me multiple occasions in there, and your team have, be it all the guys that are in there, and Claire, who's always Claire's amazing, who's looking after stuff at the moment, so allowing you two to be up here. So thanks for coming up and spending some time with us here at Service Please.
Thank you, Charlie.
It has been absolutely lovely because it hasn't even felt like we've been really doing anything, has it? It's just been catching up and chewing. Yeah.
This is what a podcast is.
So on that note, yes, it's Charlie here from Service Please with Marc Bereen and Conor Bereen, and the Bereen Brothers from Coppinger Row, Charly Quay, Row Wines, and Orwell Road. It's been great talking to you, and we'll be back next week. Thanks a million.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thanks.
Thanks.